So we're like living here sort of completely by ourselves a bit, but it's just, there's definitely like a sense of like isolation that we have to just sort of do it by ourselves. We can't just have like some family look after your kids or something, or like my mom to bring me some leftover lasagna or something, or like, it's just, it's so we're very much sort of like on our own. And I've been, because I shoot like all the time, there's something that I've obviously been like documenting for like all this time, and I wanted somehow to like encapsulate that in like a volume, just purely even for the sake of my children and my family, to as like a legacy kind of thing, almost. Like it's just. So it's NUCLEO is like, so this kind of story in a way. I mean, it's not a story, but like it shows like images of me, desires of me, but like it's just like the family dynamic of like living here in Canberra, where I am with my wife and my two young children, and like, because my family is in, my parents are still in Belgium, my wife's family is quite far away, so we're like living here sort of not like completely by ourselves a bit, but it's just, there's definitely like a sense of like isolation that we have to just sort of do it by ourselves. We can't just have like some family look after your kids or something, or like my mom to bring me some leftover lasagna or something, or like, it's just, it's so we're very much sort of like on our own. And I've been, because I shoot like all the time, there's something that I've obviously been like documenting for like all this time, and I wanted somehow to like encapsulate that in like a volume, just purely even for the sake of my children and my family, to as like a legacy kind of thing, almost. Like it's just like a family album, basically,
Sure.
But then sort of like what we were talking about before, about like the human experience and stuff, like, I mean, fuck, how many people have families? Like, so many people have families and like have children, and like, so it's just this universal story again, But obviously it's like intrinsically like about how we sort of live here, but it's just like it's about the fact that we do this like as humans, like as children, and live together, and like an age, and like, so that's sort of like what was sort of the catalyst for the idea in a way. But and like, I haven't really mentioned sort of like First Nations culture, because I'm always like quite aware of like people like virtue signaling, like, oh, the First Nations, or like, like it just becomes this kind of thing where people like drag that into their artist statement, just to say, like, I'm aware of cultural history and like yada yada,
Yeah, it was a big topic this last year.
Yeah, but I mean, it remains a big topic. I mean, but it's also like, thinking about what's happening now, and I don't need to like politicize it, but it's like thinking what's happening now in the Middle East and stuff, It's like, what the fucking point of making a book about like your little family living in this like one of the safest countries in the world, like going for walks, why? And I've been thinking a lot about that, It's just like, why even bother with that in a way? Like, it's just like, but in a way, I don't know, it's just something I haven't even sort of come to full circle, like what I'm thinking about it. But it's something where I'm aware of, like, that.
Yeah.
It's just came out, all stuff happening, and it's like I speak from like an incredible privilege in a way, that it's like that I can do that, and I can live here, like, sort of without my children getting like killed or me, like, it's just like this. It's
I don't know. I love that you're considering it, but there's also a reason why we watch movies, the reason why we read books.
Yeah, for sure.
We want to go somewhere else and not think about the insanity of our world and our experience. And I think if you can offer that in some kind of way, I think you're doing a service to the world. We've got a lot to be scared of and be mad about these days, you know? And so to kind of imagine a better way of doing something, I think it does something. And I would not reconsider releasing something like that just because we need it right now. You know,
I'm not second guessing, or I mean, I'm just like knowing that
you're very conscious of it.
It's a coinciding of time, and like I'm not like dragging it into conversation to like say, oh bloody hell, aware of this. It's just like this is happening, and I realize the incredible privilege. But then like sort of about the sort of the First Nation kind of aspect is like, I mean, when I first moved to Australia, I was like, I was like, where are the Indigenous people? Where are the Aboriginal? Where are the? They were not there. Like I could not see them. So I was like, I'm on the other side of the world. Where is this culture? Where is that? And I was just like looking at lots of like, I did do a bit of research. I was like reading books and like looking at drawings and like trying to like get some understanding of it, you know. And it's like I was really struggling with that. It's been this very slow kind of burn for me to chip away at it and get some kind of understanding for it. But I've been lucky, sort of through my work. I actually work in a very small sort of organization where we sort of focus on photography. Yeah, we do like projects, etc. And we have a dark room. It's called Photo Access. I'll just drop it in there. I've got a little stubby holder for my beer. But like I've been lucky that I've actually have had time to work with like First Nations people, you know, and like I've had this like only like recently it's sort of back in the beginning of this year or something. I was out on this little hill with an elder, and he was like doing like a welcome to country, like sort of like saying, okay, this is the land of the NUCLEO people who've been here for like thousands of years, etc. But then he sort of said he also like sort of cast away like sort of evil spirits that could be holding on to people, you know, and almost like felt like something removed from me in a way, which is I don't believe in that kind of like level of spirituality. But that aside, he said that like country looks after people like that are not even First Nation. So it's like that everyone who's like travels passes through here or is here for temporary, like the land actually cares for you. And I was like, holy shit. Like I didn't realize that. Like why would they look after some random Belgian dude who moved here like all these years ago? And I was like, that for me was such a beautiful kind of thing to realize. Not that shapes everything that is in that book, but that was quite a big thing for me. And like I mentioned before, like that when I was painting about that house kind of structure, you know, and like so when that guy was saying these things, we were on top of this hill nearby, and all the hills in Canberra where I live have this kind of structure on it to demark like these peaks, and the structure of the hill was like this. It's actually like the shape of a house. So I was like in the spot having this kind of epiphany, and I was like, holy shit, I'm actually in this shape of a house, but there's no walls in it. So it was really strange, this kind of coinciding of like thematically that hard back to stuff that I was like painting like 20 years ago. And it's like, that sort of, I belong here in a way. There's like this, I still haven't quite worked it out, but it was just like, and now like looking back, the book sort of has like 10 years of my life here, like all this time, I didn't really know, but like the landscape was actually like looking after me and my family. And I've always been like really drawn to landscapes and paid close attention and sort of been cognizant in a way, or like aware at least of like the different layers that there are, like from First Nations point of view. There's like, there's so many layers to like reality that we just don't see as white people. So it's like, and without even me wanting to know exactly what it is, I just like, holy shit, this is a landscape that I sort of see, but actually it has depth to it, and that's why, again, my forensic thing is like, let's try to create an objective image of this, and then later maybe I'll be able to go back to that, like, actually, this and this, I can now understand these things in it, so it's like I'll try to create these kind of depersonalized things for myself, like documents, that I can go back to them, and like when I develop a deeper understanding about things. But like I said, it's not about like, I'm not just trying to do virtue signaling with like, oh, First Nations, but it's just like this kind of a genuine like interest in like there's things there that are like real completely to these people that we are completely clueless of, So I'm just in this kind of space where I feel grateful for like getting some kind of awareness about it, but it'll always be like sort of chipping away at something, it's fascinating. But anyway, like that's sort of like the book is actually like built, and I'll show you in a minute. So I might, this is probably a good cue to jump into it. So the book is actually like so it's published by Area Books, and was like I was working with a publisher called like Lauren Kaiser, who has some great sort of inputs and ideas in like the binding. And I can show you the physical copy because it's quite hard to explain. But basically, the sequence goes like chronologically, sort of 10 years since my son was born. He's actually turning 9 tomorrow. I mean, yeah, so that's 9 years. So it's like goes through images like from all that time. And I was shooting color much more back in the day. So it's like there's a lot in it. I mean, there's a lot and lot. It's like 230 pages, probably like a couple of hundred photos in there. So yeah, just like quite sort of tender moments, and then like sort of juxtaposed with like sort of like the landscape basically that I've encountered in these times. I think it's like a barely sort of PDF. Some of these books and some of these photos didn't make it to the. But see, like for example, like this is like one when we had like bushfires sort of at the end of 2019, and like so you can sort of see the sky. For example, in this photo, like it's quite sort of polluted by clouds, and then this was actually like a controlled burn where First Nations people like are employed by the fire department to like help burn, but according to like traditional ways of like land management.
Yeah.
But obviously, like the fire is like a fascination of me that sort of was evident in the other book as well. But that's all like very close by, these kind of things, It's just. But so yeah, the book folds out, like the spread you're looking at now is actually like about 1 meter in width. So it's like this kind of. I'll show you the actual book in a second. If it makes sense. But yeah, there's like lots of just like moments with like my partner. See, that's my wife Celia, on the same walk. So the book sort of reveals like different parts of like particular series. So it's like you see like this image, and then like it reveals moments shot in the same kind of instance. But it was like quite confronting for me for us basically like, to see this book in its entirety, because it was like sort of 10 years of my life sort of summed up. I don't know if it makes much sense to looking at it at this kind of scale, but yeah, I mean, it's already like I can sort of drag the Anthropocene in there, like I mean, it's just we're living in obviously like a climate kind of emergency. So this was like when my mother was visiting from Belgium, and she's watching like a fire that got out of control, like in this industrial estate with my son, and then and there was like other people like watching that like on a hill. I thought it was like quite an incredible like kind of scene. Like this kind of threat, it's like, I mean, obviously like you said before, like this we need like beauty to escape to in this idyllic life, but I mean not even like nothing is just like 100% idyllic all the time. There's always like going to be like ups and downs with anything, so there's always like moments that are, I mean, it's not that apparent like this is dark or this is bad, but it's obviously like a mix of things, like for example, mean, look, if you want to talk about like technical things, I was shooting color and actually forgot I had a yellow filter on my camera, which was a rangefinder. So my son is also wearing completely yellow. So it's just like, and it was also like the sky was completely covered by bushfire smoke. So it was just like, we just like put that in as it was because that was quite fun. I see like here once my chickens in the bath. Yeah.
So when your family looks through this, what are their reactions to it?
Yeah, my partner was quite quite emotional about it because I mean it just shows you, it's like quite confronting to just like see 10 years of your life in like a volume, it just like brings up so many things like yeah, I mean it's quite, like I said, it was quite important for me to sort of see this in one kind of publication. But yeah, I'm like, no, there's not a single photo of me in it, but I mean, it's obviously about me as well, and to be part of that kind of same dynamic.
This is the window and the mirror.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious too, is, you were doing a lot of this photography originally for your family and stuff like that. What did they think about your approach, your style? Do they, are they,
yeah, I mean, it's just like in like levels of embarrassment with how big a camera I hold around, flashing everyone from behind. It's just like, oh no, don't take the embarrassing camera out. Like the big one. Camera. Yeah. If I'm walking around with like a strobe and like a large format, I'm just like walking around suburbs. It's
like, there's dad again.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But I mean, like, for example, something like this is just so surreal. Like, this one point in time was this cloud in the sky that looked like this weird, like this strange shape, It just like, it's still this like surreal kind of things that come into play with it and within that dynamic. But still, it's quite early days. It's only sort of been out for like a month. I'm still like sort of getting my head around it, and we haven't had any sort of reviews about like what other people think about it, and it's quite a wild kind of book. There's just so much stuff in it, and it's so personal that I just don't know how it will be received. Really, not that it matters that much, but it's so, yeah, like it's just so me. That's why I was really grateful to work with Aria and with Lauren, and particularly because of like having. It's such personal work. Like I said before, it's like if I would be doing the sequencing and everything and choosing the binding, is like what is this then? I could have not made this, like it is like so personal. But like I said, like it's not just like image of family, is like things that sort of coincided with that time, like this kind of navigating that. I mean, because what having children sort of force you to do is that your radius of operation and like photographing becomes so much more small. So you're like looking at this hyper localized kind of environment, which sort of speaks. This book sort of tells that story. See, for example, like this actually harks back to the previous book. So this is actually that like shelf I was talking about with where the fossils are. So the ocean is just there, and like the whole foreground you're looking at is completely saturated in fossils.
Wow.
And like I was
the source of your fossils.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I was like photographing that, and like and my family was like, "Oh, Daddy's taking photos," and they were actually like slowly disappearing out of the frame. Which was doing stuffing up. Nope. So it's like
changes on you.
Yeah. So they were like. They like actually walked away from me, and I was like sort of shooting that, and I felt like I was actually like disappearing in time, in a way, like the fossils, like this became this little blip of like my wife walking away there in the distance, and I was getting by sort of that sort of passing of time, and I was just like there, one of the fossils in a way. I don't know. It felt really like a significant little moment for me. I mean, the book is filled with like significant moments, but like this sort of narratively like goes back to that place. And then like there was also like an encounter at a similar time where like I found this scarecrow that was like dumped on a compost heap, which obviously again sort of tells that story about like life and death in a way. And there's like a magpie sitting on a branch behind it. I don't know. But these are just like things that are like thrown in my path, you know, it's just like me. But it's interestingly enough, there's actually images of like that I shot in Belgium that are also in the book that it's nowhere it's like delineated or in any artist statements. But for example, these are like images of this abandoned farmhouse like near in the street of my parents in Belgium, and that doesn't exist anymore. There was it was like half falling apart, and like there was like a wardrobe with like old jackets hanging in it, and I had to like crawl through this cupboard through these old moldy jackets to get in the house. And then I was in this kind of weird sort of parallel universe. But then the book, interestingly enough, juxtaposes this image with this is me like Skyping, like FaceTiming my dad who just had like knee surgery, and I'm in some kind of gully in some kind of jungle. So he's calling from the street with a broken down houses, and he's just like on my phone in this kind of jungle situation down the coast here in Australia.
Wow.
So it's but like I said, it's really going in a lot of detail, like trying this is this and this and this. I mean, not that it matters much, but it's full of all these kind of moments, like, you know, it's. So then that's where we sort of talked about before with that sort of house structure. So that's like the images that are sort of the most recent that are in there. Which I find quite interesting. So again, you can sort of see the use of flash in there and quite sort of a rigid composition. Yeah. So you're like, for example, here there were actually like there was like actually a fire burning. You can sort of see the smoke sort of behind here traveling, and then you can sort of see it carried through in the next frame. Because obviously we're heading now into summer now, so like bushfire is like a really like a big kind of thing here. Like with like we'll have like 37 degrees Celsius tomorrow. So like if there's winds, if there's fire, that's like it's just so part of the ecosystem. Yeah.
So when you think about this book, what do you hope people see when they look at it?
I don't know.
You don't know. You just
like I said, it's like I make, and in first instance, like I just make this for myself. Like it just like it's for me. It gives me a lot of it reduces anxiety for me. Like that is somewhere that's sort of preserved. You know. I think that's how like curation is like it's someone pays close attention to this and this is put together. This is like held together. That is like that's already ticks all the boxes for me, you know.
Yeah,
which is really important. That is like it's just like not just like my Instagram account or something, or like some website or something, you know. Just like that's what I like about the books without being like obsessed about photo books. It's like the works that lives together like on someone's bookshelf, you know. Something really satisfying about that. I mean, if you look at the actual book, it's quite interesting. It's hard to sort of convey on a camera, but it's like you're looking at it like that, you sort of see all the edge of the pages. So you're looking at it, you can look at it like this, like a normal book, but that actually folds out to this huge paper. So there's actually massive images like that. So it's quite a different way of like, so it's actually like quite a big kind of volume. So it's a very engaging kind of object. You can like look at a series, like at a few images, for example, like for example, like here you got like 2 images, and you're looking at it like that when it's like normal fold out. But as you open it up completely, you see like more images of that same set, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, that's something I would never.
I love that. I love it when they fold up.
But I would have never. I mean, and that's each page. Like the whole book is like completely like that. It's like actually put together with like studs in the back, and I mean, and that's completely down to my publisher, like Area Books. I would have not. Because when she came up with that idea, I was like, she tried to explain. I had no idea what do you mean? Like, no idea. I would have never thought about it. More than a million years. I would have made like a little, like my first book, like I made, like Organic is like just like is like literally like just like glued together, and it's like here's an image, and then it's like there's another image. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like that's what I can do, you know. That's someone else will do something more interesting, and maybe I have to make like 10 books in close collaboration with people to then like do my own thing or something completely autonomously. But that might never happen. So, but would it be better?
So, which one do you prefer? Like, so photography shows up in many ways. You know, you have, of course, we're doing a digital representation now, but you also have the gallery style where you put up a show. And then you also have the book. Which one do you prefer, or do you?
Yeah, I definitely. How things are going now, I definitely prefer the book. You know, I mean, the time I've done a few exhibitions, but whenever I've done an exhibition, it's like you put all this stuff on the wall. You pay like thousands of dollars for your framing, whatever. And then you did like this. Here's my photo. This is me. This is my art on the wall. And then like. You're in like Australia, or you're somewhere locally, and then like shit comes off the wall. Done.
Yeah.
Now what?
But in this book, it's almost like your fossil. It's an imprint.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, that's how sort of I conceptualized the first book. Like the first book, I mean, it's not as engaging, but it was actually called Safe, because I had this dream that I had like that actually like shipped out like a save, like a tomb in the rocks, and I was like, I had prints in there, like that were getting washed by the sea, and I had this dream, like I want to manifest that. I want to have like preserve these things, like and for to look back on, like, and that's how I sort of see these books in a way, you know. Yeah.
I think that's
now, you know, it's.
Yeah, as far as like there is a clear difference, you know. It's I think a lot of photographers are becoming bookmakers to a point, because they can kind of, you know, tell stories through a book, and it's tangible. It's what I love about photography, especially making a thing, is that you get to touch it and look at it and get close. And sometimes when it's on a wall, you kind of lose that personal kind of attachment. But also at the exact same time, I bet your work does look great and space. When you do put it in space, how do you think through it? Do you like to do large prints, or do you allow kind of a curator to kind of put it together?
No, I mean, like I haven't really shown much since I've been sort of printing much. Like, but I love to just print 8x10 inch prints, like. Smash them out like in a darkroom, just like and like it's I take a lot of pride in like making things that are really well made. Like, you know, I'm a printmaker. Like I just I've just got this like, I know it's like quite sort of big, like in Japan, people like really get still really excited about like darkroom prints, and like go like to exhibitions with like magnifying glasses to look at the details in the prints, and I'm sort of playing with the idea of maybe trying to show something there. Like, it's because there are like I mean, the book is like it's technically really well printed, but there's still like another level like physical prints. I mean, the beauty of the NUCLEO book is that actually I'm being very generous. There's actually like a little darkroom print and a sleeve in each of the books. I'm just doing complete sales pitch now, but it's like see like a little print that I smashed out in the darkroom. So I actually made 500 prints, believe it or not, in the darkroom.
Wow.
It's like the cost of the book wouldn't normally cover even what I would usually sell a print for. But I mean, that's a complete sales talk now. It's market.
No. I did see that. That it was like 70 euros for the book, and then you get a signed print. Is that the signed print?
That's a signed print. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
anyway.
It's neat. To me, I think it's interesting. You know what I mean? And so, like, I've never seen anybody do that before. So.